You may have seen in a previous video of mine that I visited the Racetrack Playa back in 2014. Back then I was totally unprepared for it, both the cold and how far out it was, the remoteness, but I still fell in love with the location. I was hoping that someday I could bring Sherry here to see it as well. Everything including the creepy plant people. So where were we? Oh yeah, you saw in the previous video we'd spent the night at the hot springs in Saline Valley. So today we're making our way south out of the valley towards Hunter Mountain, north up through the mountains, and then south again past the racetrack and onto our campsite at Homestake Dry Camp. More bumpy roads, more rocks to avoid, and more great views for about 70 miles. Not a lot of people though. The road over Hunter Mountain wasn't as bad as we thought it was going to be. Much easier than Lippincott Road. Our Jeep made a big difference. If we took Lippincott, it would have cut the trip in half, but we've heard horror stories about that road. And by the way, if you're interested in seeing all of Hunter Mountain Road, I can put that video together and post it. Just drop me a comment and let me know. About 5 miles prior to Teakettle Junction and Racetrack Valley Road is the turnoff to the lost Burro Mine. As the story goes, in 1907 a man named Bert Shavely found gold while out looking for a lost mule, or burro. This mine ended up being one of the more prosperous mines in Death Valley and was worked by various prospectors until 1970. The site's in fairly good shape considering its age, and it's probably due to its remoteness and lack of visitors. But remember, if you make your way out to the mine, make sure you honor how well it's been preserved. Don't move anything or take anything from the area. The only thing I took from there was a good selfie. Next stop is Teakettle Junction, which is about 21 miles down Racetrack Road and about 6 miles from the racetrack itself. Not a lot is known about its history, but today visitors worldwide stop to leave a kettle. My first trip there, I saw one from a visitor from Moscow. It is said to bring good luck to those that leave one and to provide an interesting sign for future travelers. Prior to our trip, Sherry made sure to create one promoting our 2 favorite universities in Arkansas. It was getting late, so we decided to head to the Homestake Dry Camp and settle down for the night. The racetrack would have to wait until tomorrow, but what an unforgettable evening, the best of the trip. There was no one around us for miles. And there might have been some streaking occurring. The next morning we ate a good camp breakfast, packed up, and made our way out into the playa. The racetrack is located in a valley between the Cottonwood and Last Chance mountain ranges. It's 2.8 miles long and 1.3 miles wide. What brings most visitors here are the moving rocks, or sailing stones as some call them. These rocks leave long trails behind them that last for years. Some of the rocks can even change direction. The stones with smooth bottoms can change directions multiple times. For decades it was a mystery how these rocks moved on their own. But in 2014 a group of scientists using time-lapse photography and GPS figured out that it was a combination of ice, wind, and the unusually level ground. To show you how flat it is, there is only 1 inch of elevation difference from one end of the playa to the other. And it doesn't take as much ice or wind as you might think to move the rocks. They can move when ice sheets just a few millimeters thick start to melt during periods of light winds. Toward the north, right in the middle of the dry lake bed, is the grandstand, a large outcropping of dolomite formations. Can't you imagine Captain Kirk and Mr. Spock beaming down here? After a few hours of exploring, I was tired, ready to eat, and Sherry needed some iced tea. The lunch buffet at Furnace Creek is over 60 miles away on bad roads and closes in about 2 hours, so it's time for us to book up on out of here. Thanks for watching, and look out for our next video in this series where we show some of our favorite spots outside of Death Valley, along Highway 66 and in the Owens Valley. Please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel, like the video, and leave a comment. It's all greatly appreciated. Till next time, happy travels.
That's all, folks.